This is our series of conversations with candidates for the municipal election of 2021 in the city of Holyoke, Massachusetts. And here we are today with Guy O'Donnell, who is running for City Council representing Ward 5. So Guy, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. If you would like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So my name's Guy O'Donnell. I'm running for City Council for Ward 5. I got into this race because I have two kids that go to the Holyoke Public Schools at McMahon, and I believe that Holyoke students deserve to have just as good education as any of the other surrounding communities, and I'm really concerned about their future. That's why I've been volunteering at McMahon School for the last 3 years. I've been very involved in the community in that way, and I also used to volunteer for a group called Wolfpack to get big money out of politics to make sure that our representatives are answering to us, the people, not to the big corporations and the billionaire donors. I volunteered for that group for years and became state director and leader in the state to get big money out of politics. And now I want to run here in Holyoke to make a difference here on the local level.
What are right now your top priorities as a candidate for Ward 5?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So my top priority as a candidate right now is going out and meeting and talking with residents of Ward 5. To let them know my values, to know that I'm fighting for working class families, because I come from a working class family. I watch my parents work really hard all their lives and still struggle to make ends meet sometimes. So for me, it's very personal. I want them to know that I have kids in the Holyoke Public Schools and that I'm a parent and that I fought really hard to make sure my kids have every opportunity in the world. And I want to make sure that all of our kids in Holyoke have that as well. And I'm also talking to the residents to make sure that I know what is important to them, what can make a real difference in their lives. And I've been talking to hundreds of residents across Ward 5, from Tokeniki to Rock Valley. And I've found that a lot of people feel unheard. And that doesn't surprise me because I've often felt this way as well.
Should you become city councilor for Ward 5, what will be then your top priorities as city councilor to take care of?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So my top priority is to make sure that we are making a material difference in the lives of Holyokers. As a city councilor, I will fight for working class families, and I'll fight for our future so that our kids and our local businesses can thrive. And what that looks like is making sure that all of our kids get a quality education. That's exactly why I've been volunteering at McMahon School for the last 3 years. And I think I have a unique perspective from the inside, seeing what is working in our schools and what is not. I will also ensure that we are tackling climate change head on and that we are preparing our city for climate change and reducing our carbon footprint. I was really disappointed in city council last summer when they voted down a grant of $250,000 to study green energy in Holyoke. Literally, the lowest bar is to say yes to free money to study what a green energy future could look like in Holyoke. And lastly, I want to make sure the big corporations that come into Holyoke are paying their fair share back to the community so that we can better support our local businesses and our local entrepreneurs as well.
You mentioned that you have been doing volunteer work. You're currently doing volunteer work, and that also reflects the importance of having the community involved in multiple aspects of the daily lives, including governance. So in this same line of thought, how would you encourage more civic engagement?
Yeah, I think there are two things we really need to do to engage civic engagement. I know we just saw a less than 20% turnout in a municipal election. So I think one thing we need to do is make sure we're communicating well, that we're talking to residents, that we're holding regular meetings, and as a city that we are reaching out and letting them know what is going on in our city. And secondly, and just as importantly, is we have to make sure that when we are elected, that we are delivering results for those constituents. I think too often we see representatives get in there and the constituents feel unheard and they haven't gotten the results that they're looking for, and they get frustrated and they disengage. So we need to make sure that our residents are being heard and that we are following through and listening to what they are telling us.
You were mentioning some aspects regarding education and also the businesses in the city. So in this specific topic, What do you think are right now the most pressing issues that businesses are challenged with, and how would you propose to resolve them?
Yeah, I think there are several things we can do to better help our local businesses here in Holyoke. One, I think, is just consistent and small business friendly zoning. I think we can also streamline and make our regulations simpler, especially for those startup companies in Holyoke and those small local businesses looking to scale up. I've also heard from a lot of people that the communication from the city or between the city departments is really lacking, and it's causing delays in getting certain things that the businesses need. So we need to make sure that our city departments are ready to support our businesses and aren't acting as a hindrance to them. And then lastly, like I mentioned before, is big corporations need to be paying their fair share back to the community. I don't think it's fair that any corporation comes into Holyoke and pays a lower tax rate than any of our local businesses. In fact, I would argue they should be paying a higher rate. And the reason is because when big corporations come into Holyoke, they are taking money out of our local economy and sending it back to shareholders and rich executives and taking it out of one of the poorest communities in the state. And we need to make sure that we have a thriving local business, because those businesses, when we spend money there, that business, those dollars stay in our community and recirculate and help everyone in the community.
When we discuss the different issues and challenges a city has, of course, there's always going to be criticism about the things that are not working or that they have a lot of opportunities for improvement. At the same time, it is important to recognize the things that are great, that are working well. So in this line of thought, what, according to you, has the city done right lately?
So yeah, one of the things I think lately that they've done well is the response to the COVID, the pandemic. I know early on we got caught flat-footed. I think everyone did, and there was a lot of missteps. But recently, there's been a lot of great things they've been doing, whether it's the testing at HCC in the War Memorial, which is very accessible. It is free and easy to get in. Vaccine clinics, like the one at the senior center, was fantastic. It got a lot of people in early, and I think they were well organized. And then even things like getting air filters in our schools, which helps reduce the spread of it in our schools, and also is going to make a big difference in our high population of students that suffer from asthma as well. So yeah, I think we've done well with the response to COVID lately.
One topic that you have mentioned during this conversation is education, and also because of your involvement in some of the activities related to the schools. It's well known that the Holyoke Public Schools, the school district of the city, has been under receivership and control of the state for the past 5 years. What are your thoughts on the receivership?
I think we should have local control of our schools. I don't believe that Boston cares any more about our kids than we do here in Holyoke. That's for sure. We have some problems with our schools. It's definitely why I've been volunteering at the schools for the last 3 years. And I've seen many of these problems firsthand. I've seen a lot of what's going right and what's going wrong. The teachers and the staff at my kids' school have made all the difference in the world for my kids. They're amazing. But I've also seen how they're under-supported and they're not given the tools they need to make sure every student succeeds. For example, my son in his first grade class had a gen ed teacher and no dedicated paraprofessional. So there was one teacher in that classroom with over 20 students. And now my son, like I imagine many, sometimes struggles and needs a little extra help sometimes. And it doesn't seem possible that when he's struggling, the teacher could help him and the entire class. And I imagine there's other students that need that as well. So we need to make sure our teachers are being supported and getting the things they need to make sure all of our students can succeed. There's also a lot of low cost or no cost ways that we can help our students as well that I think would be amazing. So one example that we're already doing is the dual language program at Metcalf and Ian White. Those programs are fantastic. They're giving our students the skills they need in this economy. Being able to speak 2 languages is super important and very valuable. And those programs are so popular, there is a wait list to get into them. And then one other thing is this year, for example, I helped organize a plant sale at McMahon School. we were able to get donations, all of our plants, soil, and pots donated to us for free, and we had volunteers help out with the plant sale, and we were able to put on this plant sale at a cost of $0, and we ended up raising $725 for McMahon School. With that money, we put in 10 raised bed gardens in the back, and we also just put in a permaculture garden as well. I was just there yesterday, actually, and it's a really highly effective hands-on way for children to learn. I was with my son's 3rd grade class, and it was just amazing to like dig into the ground, and they would look through the dirt and see what bugs they can find and what was in the dirt. And oh my God, if there was a worm, everyone would lose their mind. And it was amazing. And they're gonna love it even more when next year they get to harvest some of those raspberries that they planted this year that they grew themselves right there, right next to their school. So yeah, we should have local control, and we need community involvement in the schools as well. I think those are super important.
This is our conversation with Guy O'Donnell, candidate for City Council Ward 5. And these are the list of questions that we have sent all the candidates. And Guy, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just say that, yeah, I hope everyone can get involved in the community and help out in whatever ways they feel are best. I know right now we have a campaign with less than 3 weeks to go. And you can go to guyodonnell.com to check out more information, sign up to volunteer or donate there as well. And yeah, let's just make sure that we are all invested in the community to make it a better place.